Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Isabel Rambob. I'm the Director of International Collaborative Education at Abayomi Academy. And on behalf of Abayomi, I will be moderating this panel discussion on smart and happy management, boosting efficiency and productivity as part of Smart Cities, Happy Citizens World Summit 2020. So when we talk about smart cities, happy citizens, we must talk about management, whether it's in the private or the public sector. Management will have impact on the cities, organizations, and the people. In the Abayomi methodology, management is one of the 5 dimensions for promoting smart, happy cities and spaces. So in Abayomi, we believe that smart management only exists if every single stakeholder in this process are happy. So I'm very happy to moderate this panel with these 2 remarkable women. And thank you so much, Eliane Saldan and Beatriz Luz, for being available to join us for this interesting, insightful discussion. So before we go straight to the questions, I'd like to each of you to introduce yourself. So we can start with Eliane. So if you can tell us your current occupation, your education, and how your professional experience is related to smart and happy cities and how you can promote happiness.
Okay, Isabel, thank you very much. I'm also very happy to be here tonight. This is a very special opportunity to discuss about smart cities, about promotion of happiness. And my experience with smart cities, it has 1 year, about 1 or 2 years in researches at Abayomi as a teacher, and also as a lawyer. I'm a master's degree in law constitutional, and I hope to contribute to the discussion.
Wonderful. Bia, tell us about you.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here with all of you, and very pleased to be able to talk about my line of work and how circular economy can contribute to happy and smart cities. I'm a chemical engineer. I graduated in Brazil, but right after my graduation, I went to the UK and lived there and worked for 10 years with sustainability, resource efficiency, and everything related to sustainable development. In 2015, I came back to Brazil and launched my own organization called Exchange for Change Brazil, with a mission to influence the transition to the circular economy in Brazil. So since then, I've been working with businesses, with government, educating, and also working on strategic and projects helping to bring the circular economy principles to Brazil as a good opportunity to develop a new economic model that brings value to everybody and make everybody happy.
This is wonderful. You two have so much experience and expertise, and I'm looking so forward to listen to you sharing your experience. So going to the first question, from your professional perspective, what are some of the management best practices one can apply to promote happiness? And we can start with Eliane.
All right. Before I'd like to say that happiness is a concept that it can change in the space and time. On COVID, coronavirus, it clears it very well. But for the lawyers, for the students of the constitutional right to pursue it of happiness, we consider this concept like we have the fundamental right to live, liberty, if we have life and liberty to be happy. And since the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson, inspired by John Locke, who was inspired by Aristotle. We have this concept, and introducing this in legislation, in the constitution of the countries around the world, we can extract this right from a lot of rules that allow the citizens and the organizations to pursue the happiness at the same time as the governments have to improve security, health, safety. And if we think about smart cities, we only can talk about smart cities if we can find happy citizens from there. It's not about technology. It's about the process. It's about the connections. And the cities, the spaces, public or private spaces, the organizations, they have to for the citizens pursue this happiness. So you asked the best practices. The best practices, in my opinion, are those who introduce the citizen as a subject, active making decision of the process, not only part of this or not only a number. And all this, all the best practices that consider this a premise, this fundamental, they are best practice. So we have here in Brazil, public hearings during the coronavirus pandemic, virtual public hearings, a lot of applications, apps, platforms. We say participatory budgeting and management tools. If we cannot stay together, we have technological tools to promote these connections, to promote this process, considering the citizens, all the demand like an active actor, an active stakeholder.
Excellent. Yes, and when you just mentioned about you have to allow the citizens to have an active role in the decision-making process. And when we apply to health, and when we talk about coronavirus, the COVID-19, now health has been take really the forefront, and how we have to really allow the patient to be an active participant on the decision-making process regarding their health. So it was really important to mention that. Bia?
Wow, that's a very good question. Yeah. And in order to talk about best practices, I think I will make a reference and start talking about management in general and production process. So since the Industrial Revolution, we were used to see success and define successful business as a business that grows without paying attention to the environment around us, to their employees, and it was all related to power and strength and being very competitive, and the large organizations being always above the small companies and their suppliers. What circular economy brings to the discussion is that this type of management and this production process based on exploitation of the environment and the natural resources have led us to the world as we are now, with a lot of inequalities, with a lot of pollutions, with a lot of problems. Of course, we developed a lot of new technologies, especially on health and in terms of policies and product development. But we have left behind a lot of problems together with all these developments and technologies. And circular economy is about promoting new business models and a new management approach where we have the people as the center of the decision-making process. So we call it people-centered decisions. And I think this is very much in line with what we are discussing here about happy citizens, So there's no point of having a city that has got so much technology in place if you don't look at the user experience, if you don't look at how the people are connected. Eliane mentioned that as well, about connections. So circular economy brings this element into the decision-making process, how to integrate the value chain, how to create a new economic model that brings value to all players. So how we can develop new rules of engagement. And I think the best practices that we bring to the table when we are presenting the value of circular economy is that we look at the new production process that develop new products, more durable products, products that can be repaired. So that's all the best practice in terms of the production aspects. We also look at how to design new experiences, how to bring new services to the consumer. So we can perhaps transform your product into a service. So the consumers, they become users of your service. So it's about changing the roles around the value chain. And it's all about redefining value, redefining attitudes. So the best practice within a circular economy is the practice that involve all actors of the value chain. You take them all into consideration. They all have the same kind of weight in the decision making. The large organizations work closely to the small organizations. And I think this is one aspect of the pandemic that we are seeing. We are learning how to collaborate, how to redefine our production process, and that's actually possible. It's possible to have a business environment that is less competitive and more collaborative. And I think this is what I wanted to highlight to start with.
I think it's so fascinating that we come from different professional backgrounds and education, and how we so easily came to a consensus that we have to put the individual in the center of the process, the decision-making process, whether we want to call them citizen, client, a patient, an employee. And also, and I'm sort of relating to concepts in healthcare, that value-based care, value-based services, value-based products, and enhancing the user experience, the client experience, the patient experience, the citizen experience. So I'm learning so much from you two, and I'm gonna have a hard time to end this panel, but I'm gonna be very respectful of each of you's times. And I think you sort of touch a little bit on the question, the next question, but if you want to add something, how is smart and happy management impact the transformation of business models due to the COVID-19 pandemic?
I think we are talking about the new normal. We are talking about the resources to save lives. In this situation, the time is important. The natural resources are important, the financial resources are important, and the human resources are so much important. And at the same time, we see the other business making like a pivoting process in some of them, changing everything. So if we cannot going to work, we have homeschooling, home office. I guess we restarted the humanity in some way, in some sectors, in some activities. These are our challenge from economy, from the professionals of the sector, all the activities and the lawyers. We have to build new solutions. And this is the process. We don't have answers for all of them.
Wow. And I feel like I gave you guys a script, because your answers are really resonate with the approach I have as a health professional, as an educator, as a speaker. And really, when you say better utilization of resources, And how important is that? Because sort of things we used to take for granted, and now we have to really think about it. What are we doing with the environment? How are we spending our time? How we utilize the resources we have? So was a very important aspect that you brought to the discussion. Thank you, Eliane. Bia?
Yeah, and I think one point that adds to that is that the coronavirus pandemic has brought to light all our weaknesses in all levels, in all elements. The weakness in our health system, as individuals, the weaknesses of our health system in terms of the hospital, the hospital and the health sector, the weaknesses in terms of government leadership, how to lead with all these situations. So I think it has, and also how we are related to each other in terms of society. So the pandemic, I think, has brought all of this to light, and how we are all interconnected, dependent on each other, and how vulnerable we are. And in all countries, in all regions, all religions, all geographic locations and status. And one thing that you said, Isabel, that I could bring to the debate and relate to health and manufacturing is we should be working to avoid the disease and not treating the disease. And I think circular economy is all about that. Let's avoid pollution, let's avoid waste, and let's modify the processes and the systems and the way that we are producing and consuming to avoid the problem, not to fix the problems. And I think the pandemic has demonstrated to us that our day-to-day life, our decisions, the production process, it's really causing an impact on the environment, and we have seen how the rivers and the lakes and the blue skies have becoming brighter and cleaner because manufacturing process has stopped. So if one has still the doubt that our production do not affect, the environment, I think now is evident that that's not the case. So we need to reevaluate, and I think is a very reflection, a moment of reflection that we're living as well in all levels. And I do hope that after we've gone through this learning, this process, this scenario, we do evaluate our decisions as citizens, our decisions as business people, how we put products into the marketplace and how we buy products. And at the end of the day, I think we all want the same thing, which is to be happy in a happy environment, surrounded by happy people. And that's the direct connection, I think, with health management, development of policies and bringing products to the market, creating a new level field and a new economic balance that generate values for all.
Well, I must ask you a follow-up provocative question. And I love when you said we have to avoid the disease and preventive matters. And what is the most common remark we hear after that? Oh, but it's not profitable. We cannot make money with prevention. So what you say based on the circular economy, what is your counter argument when they make the statements like that prevention is not profitable?
Well, I think there's so many researches already that demonstrate that with new business model, we can reach other levels of productivity and services and products it's about the mindset. We talk a lot about mindset, a cultural and new rules. We need to bring new indicators, because it's not profitable if you're using the same rules. Yeah, but we need to recalculate the impact and the results, because how do you measure the burning of the forests? How do you measure a polluted river or polluted beaches? How do you measure the number of kids that get ill because there's no sanitation in the city where they live? So I think the challenge is to bring these new indicators. Avoiding is always better than fixing it. But yes, the current mindset prefer to do what you're used to do and calculate things with the rules that I'm used to, that I already know. The unknown is always a challenge and bring us anxieties and difficulties. And one thing that we always say, Isabel, is that we need to integrate all the actors and be more collaborative to create this new accountability. It's not a one-man job, a one company job, a one country job. You really need to redesign the systems and the process. It's not easy, but I think the more we bring examples, the more we inspire people to think different. I think in a way, disasters and things like this pandemic can bring us some figures that will help us to demonstrate how it's better to avoid the problem than to fix the problem. Yeah, but without the disasters, you know, the cleanup efforts that we have to remove the oil from the ocean and remove the mud from the dams that exploded in the mining industry. If we don't know how to calculate the losses, then it's actually difficult to demonstrate the benefit of avoiding these disasters. But unfortunately and fortunately at the same time, now we all these losses and we all these diseases, now we can calculate better and create these new indicators and this new accountability.
That is wonderful. And one word of expression that really come to mind is mindset. I think the key is a mindset shift.
Yeah.
Eliane, do you have anything from the law perspective, policy making that you'd like to add to the discussion?
Yeah, all this, the legal system, it serves to improve all these public rules and private business. And I think it could be a very good way to promote governance. It depends, of course, on the not only on the citizens, on the organizations or on the governments. As Bia said, it's not a one-man job. It depends really on the all of the stakeholders really incorporate this new mindset. And I agree when you told that in a difficult way, maybe during this pandemic, we have no option. We have to go on with new models, or we will fail as society, as citizens, or as business, in my opinion. All the countries, all the legislations around the world, or the rules, we can construct solutions to like taxes, incentives, public policies, including these challenges.
Wow, what an awesome discussion. I have to pose the last question. I don't want this conversation to end. I'm learning so much from both of you. But what are some of the benefits of a smart and happy managed model? Eliane, you want to share with us?
Oh, I guess I believe all the benefits, all this we discussed here. We can improve better use of resources, human resources, natural resources, time, and public or private resource. So if we have rights, they have costs, and the resources are not will not be enough to cover all the expectatives, to contemplate all the purpose. So if we have a smart and happy management, we can contribute with better results.
Excellent. Bia.
Yeah. Well, I think we can, with the current situation where we are all in lockdown and in isolation, sometimes in certain organizations, I think the employees feel isolated and feel that they are just pushed towards the delivery of the targets, and we just realized that this doesn't make one produce more and deliver more. Environment where we feel part of a team, in a collaborative environment, in a multidisciplinary team, we feel much more involved, and we feel that we can produce more, we can deliver more, and the company will benefit from that. So I think this mindset where we bring people to work together to create this more decision process that you value all stakeholders, and you create an environment where everybody has a point to make and can contribute to the decision making. I think we are learning now that the company will produce, that the person will that feel better, produce better, and will bring more results for the company. And I think that's the best benefit of a good management that leads to happy people and great results.
Excellent. And you have shared so much and a lot of food for thought, a lot of information for us to digest later. And it was such an insightful conversation. And now that we are moving to the closing of the session, what would be your final considerations that you'd like to share with the participants of the Smart Cities, Happy Citizens World Summit 2020? And Eliane, your final considerations?
All right. If you think about the future, certainly it's because we want to get better results than the past. So I think with all these ideas and inspire new thoughts, new solutions, a new mindset, because the aspirations, the concept of happiness, they change. We have to bring some solutions in some way to contemplate all the expectatives, even not on that concept, subjective concept, but to give the tools to give good cities, good transport, good education, safety to all of the participants of this environmental engage themselves, their aspirations. So it's not about technology, it's about not an artificial process like that artificial happiness sometimes we see on social medias. We cannot allow that. We have, when we talk about smart cities, we have to promote really smartification based on citizens, not on the sellers, not on this mindset, as Bia told you, this old mindset.
Excellent. Bia, your
Yeah.
final considerations.
Well, I think my final thought is about values and attitudes. So let's rethink our attitudes, our decision making as a individual, how we make the decision to buy one product or choose another product, because we do have the power to change business decisions. At the moment that we decide to buy one product and choose one company or the other company. So it's about preferring experiences than products. And this is the new mindset that if each individual behave in a different way, I think it's natural that the companies will respond to our demands, and we will also change their behaviors. And in a world that we see that is so digital and interconnected, the consumer has got much more voice towards changing the process. And as we started our conversation talking about people-centered decision, we do have the power to change that too. And the business will then look at this in a different way, and the way that they present products, look at effectiveness and not just efficiency. And by doing that, the whole ecosystem will be redefined to a more, a better equilibrium, and in that way we will find the principles and the solutions for happy cities.
I know it'd be so hard to summarize this conversation because it's a lot of relevant, insightful points that you brought up to this discussion, but I'm going to try my best to summarize in few takeaways from my perspective. A mindset shift, so we can put the individual in the center of the decision-making process, so we can have a better utilization of our resources. You can reimagine the systems we currently have, and be open to implement a smart and happy management, so we can boost our efficiency and productivity. So I think I was able to sort of summarize. It has been such a pleasure to spend this time with both of you. On behalf of Abayomi, thank you so much, Eliane, Saldan, and Bia Luz, for sharing your expertise, experience, and was such a very enriching conversation. Thank you so much, and stay well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank you.